everyone, greetings. I am Geet from Beautiful Spotless Skin Team. I am sure all of you must be keeping a good health. Welcome to all of you, and today with us we are starting a very special Instagram live session. And today we have a treat for all of you skincare enthusiasts out there. We are diving deep into the world of dermatology with the focus of sunscreen. We all know how important it is sunscreen in protecting our skin from the harmful effects of UV rays. Sunscreen isn't just about preventing the sunburns, it's very crucial and a very important component of any effective skincare routine. Today, we are going to unravel the mysteries behind the skincare superhero and explore how it can help you achieve clearer, healthy, and a better skin. Whether you are a skincare novice or a seasoned enthusiast, this Instagram live session promises to be both informative and helpful for all of you. For this today, we have with us Dr. Neenu Malik, who is a distinguished dermatologist based in Delhi, stands as an esteemed founder of SkinWin in Dwarka, a proud alumni of Lady Harduni Medical College, New Delhi. Her journey has been marked by notable contribution across various esteemed institutions like Srimati Suchita Kripani Hospital, Kalavati Saran Children's Hospital, Indraprasth Apollo Hospital, and Fortis Lafe. At the core of her practice lies a commitment to delivering personalized top-tier medical, surgical, and cosmetic solutions to individuals grappling with skin, hair, nail, and venereal conditions. Dr. Malik's proficiency extends to an array of advanced techniques and treatments, including but not only limited to lasers, cosmetic enhancements, and dermatosurgical procedures such as MDA, chemical peels, platelet-rich plasma therapy, dermapen, radiofrequency, threadless, as well as injectable like Botox, fillers, and mesotherapy. Thank you so much, Doctor, for joining us today.
Thank you, dear, for having me with you.
So, ma'am, a very important topic about skincare today we are covering, which is sunscreens on the skin. And I'm due to the heat and summers and the weather which is going on currently, I guess sunscreen is a must accessory to wear every day. What do you think?
Dear, it's the, that's, I would like to point it out. It's not the summer alone. We should wear it. We'll go ahead with the discussion as well. But in this weather, it's required and even otherwise too. Like we should be wearing sunscreen as a routine. What I tell my
Right.
patients is that we don't forget to wash our face on a daily basis. So why skip the
Yeah.
sunscreen?
Yeah, definitely. So I guess it is a myth that only in summers we should wear a sunscreen, but we should wear sunscreen in every day, no matter what the season is, right?
Yes, dear, very true.
Definitely.
We in this summer season, you would often come across people asking for the usage of sunscreen, but the important point is that we should wear it throughout the year, whether it's the
Right.
summer season or winter, or be it a cloudy day when we don't see sunshine at all. But like even on a cloudy day, even on those days, 80% of the UV rays are reaching the earth. So it's very important that we apply sunscreen even on the cloudy days as well. We shouldn't forget the
Definitely.
umbrella, but then we should be wearing the sunscreen.
Yes, every day and all day. But I guess, ma'am, in summers, the people are more afraid of their skins, and
Yes.
everybody is these days, taking care of the skin more.
They
So I
don't.
would like to kickstart the session by asking you various questions today on this topic, sunscreen.
Right, dear. Please go ahead.
So yes, ma'am. So, very first question, I would like to start the session by asking you, should I wear sunscreen every day? Because as we were discussing that many people only think that we should wear sunscreen no matter only in summer, but only in the time when the sun is out, meaning the afternoon time.
Right. So, see, if I say to simplify things, 3 hours before the noon and 3 hours after the noon. So, it's somewhere, around 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock. We should be under sun protection. That's the most important time because the sun rays are the maximum. The UV rays which are falling onto the earth are at their peak. So, we should be under strict photo protection for that time period. And again, coming back to the same point that we should wear it on a daily basis throughout the year.
Right. Okay. So, ma'am, as we are discussing the day-to-day routine of applying sunscreen every day, how sunscreen plays a pivotal role in maintaining the skin health?
The sunscreen, we were saying that people are more worried in the summer season because the
Yeah,
tanning and the sunspots, the pigmentation is more noticeable
right,
during the summer season.
right,
So it
right,
prevents all those things. Like if we have pigmentation, so it prevents it from worsening further or extending to even the unaffected areas. It's our important defense system. And apart from it, it also not just preventing us from the various diseases, it even delays the signs of photo aging. So the fine lines, the wrinkles that we see. So nobody likes to age, with their chronological age. If they look
right.
younger, we do like that. It's a
Yeah,
human nature. So the
yeah.
sunscreen provides an aid to it. It delays the signs of photo aging. So
Okay,
apart from that, it even prevents the skin cancer from developing, though it's not very common in
yeah,
darker skin tones. But yes, it is known to happen more so if we have a family history or something. So it also protects us from skin cancers. And there are certain other, there are medications that we take. So they might sensitize us towards the photo damage. So sunscreen is very important in photoallergic, photoirritant reactions or photosensitizing medications. And in dermatology, we have certain diseases, like, for example, SLE being one of them. There are certain genetic conditions like xeroderma, so wherein strict photoprotection is to be exercised. So sunscreen does come to our rescue as well. So, but
yeah. So,
it's a
ma'am,
go-to thing.
definitely, 100% it is a go-to thing, no matter what is the day, what is the weather, but definitely a sunscreen should be in your bag. That is a must thing, we feel. But ma'am, because the market has been huge and it is open to everybody these days, so one thing which comes to my mind is every sunscreen has a SPF, broad spectrum SPF, right? So what exactly the SPF stands for and what it is, and how do we know that the SPF 30 or 40 or 50 is the correct number for us?
All right. So, dear, as SPF stands for sun protection factor. But to simplify it, there are certain authorities who say that we should change it to sunburn protection factor. We have
Okay,
different kinds of UV rays like UVA, UVB, UVC. So it's basically UVA and UVB which we are trying to protect from with the use of sunscreen. So when we speak of UVB rays, UVB rays are the one which cause redness and sunburn. So the sun protection factor is only an indicator of UVB protection. So
okay,
let's say it basically, it correlates with how much of the UVB rays have been filtered out. So let's say we have a sunscreen with SPF of 2. That means that if we are applying the sunscreen with SPF 2, 50% of the UVB rays would be filtered and they won't reach our skin. If we move on
okay,
to higher SPF, so like if it's SPF 15, that means that somewhere around 93% of the UVB rays would be filtered out. So it's not like, it's not moving to 15 to 30. If we see the percentage difference between the UVB rays which are blocked out, it's just 4%. So a SPF of 15 would filter out 93%, while the other sunscreen with SPF of 30 would filter out 97%. We even have, higher grades SPF, so like if it might be 50 or even higher, but it does not make it 100% ever. The maximum protection could be like to the tune of 98%. And that is
okay,
why we have to have additional methods of photo protection. So to
okay,
simplify in a nutshell, uh, you see that it is the SPF would tell us about the UVB protection and the amount of UVB rays which the sunscreen can filter out. Anywhere
okay,
SPF of 30 and higher is pretty good. For those who have some pigmentary condition, therein an SPF of 50 or higher might be necessary. Like when there's a family history of skin cancer or something, therein we might need higher SPF.
And ma'am, why we should know about the SPF while choosing the sunscreen?
Because as I mentioned, it tells us about what percentage of UVB rays would be filtered out. So higher is
Okay,
the SPF, more percentage of UVB rays would be filtered out. But
okay,
it's so as I mentioned that going from UV from SPF of 2 to 15, the change was quite drastic.
right.
It was from 50% to 93%. But when we go from 15 SPF to 30 SPF, it's a minimal difference of 4%.
Right.
Again, we go from 30 to 50. So the difference is even lesser. It's like just 1%. So we should not be going blindly for higher SPFs. We should understand what the sun protection factor means and what should be the ideal SPF for us.
In this case, as you mentioned, SPF 30 and higher is something we
Yes,
should go for, ideally.
yes, yes, dear.
Okay, and ma'am, our skin is definitely the largest organ of the body, and everybody wants to look good, look fresh, look perfect during every day. So, what is Booth Star rating and PA rating mentioned on the sunscreen if we see a sunscreen packet?
So I was talking about UVA and UVB rays. So the SPF gives us a clue about the UVB protection. So similarly, this PA factor, it's like it tells us how much of the UVA protection is given by that sunscreen. Here and I would say that UVB protects, it causes sunburn, but then redness, sunburn. But UVA goes even deeper in the skin and it can even cause skin cancer and photoaging. So we need to protect ourselves not just from the visible redness and tan, but even from the other things, the signs of aging and cancer as well. So that is why having the know-how of UVA protection is also important. And this PA factor gives a clue for that. So the if higher is the plus symbol, let's say a PA factor is 1 plus or 2 plus. So we should
Yes.
use the one which has a higher plus sign. So that basically indicates that it has a higher protection from the UVA rays.
Got
Now moving
it.
on to this Boot Star rating that we were talking about. This Boot Star rating gives the comparison of UVA protection vis-a-vis UVB protection. So if a
Okay.
sunscreen has a Boot Star rating of 3 and a Boot Star rating of 5, if we compare the two of them, so the one with Boot Star rating of 5 would have a higher protection from UVA rays than the one with a Boot Star rating of 3.
Okay. So the 7 one is definitely the higher protection.
Yes, yes, it protects the best from the UVA rays.
Okay. Now I'm moving on. There are two myths. One, when we apply all the other products except for sunscreen, there is a saying that less is more. But whenever we are talking about sunscreen, obviously there's a notion that more is more. So what is the exact quantity of how and at which quantity we should apply the sunscreen on the daily basis, and should we reapply it in the day?
Right. So, see, if we speak of the entire body application, so in a single day, one shot glass, that is like 30 ml, would be sufficient for our entire body. Scientifically speaking, we say that it's 2 milligram per centimeter square, but it doesn't make sense to us in day-to-day practice.
Yes.
So to
Yes.
simplify things, like for the face, neck, and scalp, 1 teaspoon would be sufficient. Moving on to the arms, 1 teaspoon again for each of the arm, one for the right and one for the left.
Okay.
If we speak of the truncal area, it will be 2 teaspoons for both, like the front as well as the back. So the chest and the back entirely would be 2 teaspoonfuls. Moving on to the lower legs, it will be 2 teaspoonfuls for each leg, like two for the
Okay.
right, two for the left. It was one for the upper arm, but it's two each for the lower arm. It's
Okay.
one teaspoonful for the entire face, including the ear, neck, and the scalp as well. So
All right.
that is the amount of sunscreen which we should apply ideally to give us adequate protection. The sun protection factor that we were discussing about, that is when the sunscreen is applied ideally under the, with the
Yes.
2 milligram per centimeter square.
Yes.
So if we don't apply the adequate amount of sunscreen, the SPF would vary. The product would say 50 or 35,
Hmm.
but then it will not be the same in the daily routine. So we need to be very, very careful about how we apply the sunscreen. The other easy method is to use a paint technique, just like we paint a wall. So we do
Yeah.
apply different coats.
Yes.
Similarly, we can coat the sunscreen. We might not be able to measure the teaspoonful thing as well, but what
Yes.
we can do is that we apply it in two layers basically. The
Okay.
advantage would be that the chances of missing out any skip areas would be pretty much less with the layering
Okay.
technique.
Okay. And then there is a lot of advertisement which says that two finger coats and two layers of sunscreen on the skin, on the face especially,
Right.
works the most. So does it make sense? Like two lines on the fingers or two just straps
So
of the layer of the
as we
sunscreen on
mentioned
the
that,
face?
a 1 teaspoon. So to simplify things, at times we do say the two-finger rule, to make it
Yeah.
easy. And
Yeah.
even again, I would say that not many of us would be expressing it onto two of the fingers. So
Yes.
that is where I stress more upon the paint or the applying it in two different coats. So at
Definitely.
least that much we're able to follow. And to speak of the reapplication, previously we often heard about, the sunscreens being sweat-proof, waterproof,
Yes.
but those labels have been taken off because people were not reapplying the sunscreen. So these days we have the terminology like water resistant or very water resistant, which makes sense and it gives a clear message that we have to reapply sunscreen. So, if I say the ideal situation, it would be the reapplication every 2 hours. But
Okay.
let's say if we are working, it will be very difficult for us to stop in the middle of the work and run and apply the sunscreen. So,
Yeah.
for practical purposes, what we say is that we should apply it once in the morning and a reapplication at least once during the lunch hours when we can do that at least.
Okay. At least two times a day.
At least 2 times a day, and the rest depends upon, like, if we are out in the sun, then sticking to the 2 hour rule would be more beneficial. If we are out on a beach or if we are playing some sports, if we are going for
Right.
swimming, then it's better to uh, restrict ourselves to the 2 hour reapplication.
Okay. Ma'am, so how effectiveness of the sunscreen is measured? That is it suiting on the skin? Is it effective enough? It is protecting me against the sun whenever I am going out. So how the effectiveness during the day is been measured of any sunscreen if we apply?
See, for that, we have these different rating mechanisms, just like we spoke of the sun protection factor for the UVB protection. Then we spoke of the BA factor for the UVA protection. Then we have a boot star rating to compare the two protections. We have like whether the sunscreen is gonna last when we are immersed in water. So when we are going for swimming and all, would it be effective? So we have the labels like water resistant or very water resistant. And if a sunscreen is effective, we won't see any redness when we go out in the
Right.
sun. If we are applying it
Right.
correctly, we won't see the tan coming onto the skin. And the chances of somebody having a photoallergic reaction would be pretty much, null.
Yeah. So, ma'am, while choosing a sunscreen, do we have the types apart from the SPF and apart from the broad spectrum? Do we have the types of sunscreen also, which are there available to buy?
Yeah, so we have different formulations. We have the creams, the lotions, the gel formulation, and we have these tinted sunscreen, the sunscreens which are available on the sticks as well these days,
Yes.
and the gel-based sunscreen. So we need to choose the formulation as per to a person's requirement. depending upon their skin type, their sun exposure, and the coexisting skin disease for that matter. Like if somebody has acne, then we prefer a gel based sunscreen if they have an oily skin. But if they have a dry skin, it's preferable to use a lotion preparation. These stick sunscreens which are available, they're pretty easy to use for limited areas. For example, near the nose, lips,
Hmm.
around the eyes, we can be like, our go-to thing for smaller areas.
Okay.
Uh, and then we have these spray sunscreens, which many a times people ask about that are they effective or not. So I would not say that they are as effective as our conventional creams and lotions because we do not have guidelines for them yet. It's difficult to measure the amount of spray sunscreen that we have used, but definitely they are good for our, like, let's say scalp, somebody who has thinning of hair. So to apply a cream or a lotion would be difficult. Even for that matter, a gel would feel a little bit more of a dry thing. So these spray sunscreens are pretty nice to cover the thinned out areas where of the scalp.
Okay.
So there are particular indication wherein a particular type of sunscreen formulation works best.
Okay. So, ma'am, are the gel-based sunscreen which recently have been launched and recently have been very popular, the stick ones and the gel ones, so both are equally effective or vice versa?
As I said, the gel ones are preferable. The stick sunscreens might be useful and handy for like smaller areas, like the lips, around the eyes, because many a times the sunscreens cause burning and stinging near
Yeah.
the eyes. So maybe we can have a combination of sunscreens for different areas of the face.
Okay.
Around the eyes and all, we can still have the stick sunscreen, but for the forehead, cheeks, I would not really recommend a stick sunscreen.
Okay. So, ma'am, is it only based upon the skin type a person can choose the sunscreen? It depends on individual to individual.
It depends upon the skin type. Again, as I said, that the kind of skin disease that the person might be having,
Okay.
acne or
Yeah.
pigmentation, that too. Our work schedule, like whether we are indoors or outdoors, people who are out in the sun would sweat more. And accordingly, we would, vary the kind of preparation that would suit
Yes.
them. We might need to have a lotion so that we can have enough moisturization as well. So the
Yeah.
different components of sunscreen have to be taken into account.
Okay. And this is also a myth that sunscreen should only be applied after moisturizers. So, is there any relation between the two, or we can directly apply the sunscreen? How is it?
See, there are people who have, very oily skin and they just don't want to apply a sunscreen. They've given up on most of the sunscreens that they have used in the
Yeah.
past. So, especially for them, I would never ever suggest applying a moisturizer followed by a sunscreen. A gel based sunscreen would be more than adequate. If required, they can apply the moisturizer later. But there are certain individuals wherein they say that it's difficult to spread out the sunscreen evenly onto their face, or it causes like a stretch kind of a sensation, even with the lotion or a cream sunscreen. Therein we apply the moisturizer first, followed by the sunscreen. So it's not
Okay.
a must to apply a moisturizer. There are sunscreens which have a moisturizer in them, which has been
Okay.
incorporated prior. So it depends again.
Okay. And ma'am, people with dry skin need to take care of something before applying sunscreen so that it doesn't age or so, or just like the moisturizer can help them to even spread it.
See, there are few of the sunscreen which have a very high moisturization potential. So,
Okay.
they alone would suffice for most of the patients, but still we have a subset of patients wherein we need to couple a moisturizer and given adequate time, at least 5 to 10 minutes, then we apply the sunscreen.
Okay. And ma'am, as we were on the subject of people dealing with different skin conditions, so acne is one prone thing which every bodies dealing with a lot of pollution and due to environmental factors. So, any specific tip for the people who have acne of usage of sunscreen?
See, with the acne, even if we have an oily skin, we should take care of applying sunscreen. And similarly, we must even apply the moisturizer because oily skin tends to dry up even more. So maybe in the daytime, they might just apply a gel based sunscreen. But during the evening or at bedtime, at least, they should apply a moisturizer too. So it is
Okay.
as important for acne free individuals as compared to the ones with acne. So, like, even if somebody who has a normal skin or an oily skin, like, a sunscreen is a must for everyone.
Definitely. And ma'am, which of these has a better formulation, a spray or a gel or a lotion?
See, a spray, as I mentioned, it is still not on top of the charts. It's
Okay, now
just for the
then cream, gel or
convenience. For
lotion.
the convenience, I would say yes. And again, if you're talking of the scalp, I would not say a cream or a lotion. There in the spray, sunscreens are pretty good. Uh, about the cream and the lotion so far like suit majority of the people, but somebody who has a very dry skin, even a cream sunscreen would be good.
Okay. And then when sometimes sunscreens are sticky or greasy or oily, then people usually even the dry skin people prefer the gel based. So is
Yes.
gel based has a very specific formulation that can help your skin also?
See, gel based is good not just for acne individuals, even for those who have a sensitive skin. We might
Right.
need to apply a little bit of a moisturizer followed by the sunscreen. So, somebody who has a dry skin would not like a gel based sunscreen, but otherwise, those who have a normal skin to oily or very oily skin, they would love to have a gel based sunscreen because nobody likes to have that bite cast, the physical
Yeah.
component, much of it. So,
Yeah.
they're liked by most of the patients.
Definitely. So, ma'am, as I asked you, that people, because of the stickiness or the white cast, tend to usually skip this part. So, why not? It is better to cover your face when going out instead of applying sunscreen.
See, we also have a something called as a UPF, which is a UV protection factor for the clothes. So, but I
Yes.
don't think that's pretty widely available for most of the brands that we go for. So, but otherwise, if we have that label with us, it equally is as important as a sun protection factor. And the physical protection works hand in hand with the sunscreen. It's not that, if we've applied a sunscreen, there's no need to carry an umbrella or cover our face. The physical protection always comes handy. As we mentioned, that those sunscreens which have an SPF of 50 or even higher can only filter out 98% of the UVB rays. But what about the remaining 2%? They're still there.
Right.
So that's why
Right.
the additional methods of photo protection are as important as a sunscreen.
Okay. And ma'am, what else should we know about the sunscreen, like the do's and don'ts, and how else can we protect ourselves from the sun or tanning or pigmentation because on the skin?
Right. See, if we can avoid, if it's possible, we should avoid the peak daylight hours, as I mentioned, 3 hours before and after the noon. We should, like, even if we're out in the sun, even on the red light, if we see a tree, it's better to stand in the shade. So seeking shade is another important factor. If you're not carrying an umbrella, at least, so like we should be planting more trees so that we can
Yeah.
seek that shade in the future. So, seeking shade is as important as applying a sunscreen. We should always carry a umbrella. We should protect ourselves wearing long sleeve clothes. And an important thing, like the protection factor of the fabric varies. Like if we hold a cloth against the visible light, and if we can see the light coming across it, so then it's important that if we have such a fabric, we should apply sunscreen even underneath it. But if the cloth is blocking the passage of visible light, that means it is blocking the UV rays as well. So we can
Right.
skip the sun protection for those covered areas. So those for the protection with the cloth would vary with what fabric we are wearing. So we always
Okay.
advise, like even if it's a thin fabric, and we have to apply sunscreen underneath it, still we should have a long sleeve clothes, carry those UV protection sleeves with us, and gloves if possible. We should have shades with us. We should wear wide brimmed hats, which can at least protect ourselves from the face as well as the neck. It's not just the
Yes.
forehead that needs a shade, it's the lower part of the face as well.
Yeah, 100%. And while applying or wearing the sunscreens, any do's and don'ts are there of that which we have to take care of?
See, we should apply it at least 15 to 30 minutes before we go out in the sun. We should give
Okay.
it some time to get into the skin so that it can protect us. It's not that
Right.
just we are planning to step out and that's the time when we rush towards the sunscreen. We should give it adequate
Yeah.
time to get into the skin and give us the protection. Uh, Again, the amount of sunscreen that we apply is important. The reapplication is pretty important. And the method in which we apply, like we should not be in a rush when we apply the sunscreen. We should always do the layering when we are applying the sunscreen. We should not have any skip areas. And see that we should go for a broad spectrum sunscreen, which gives us a UVA as well as UVB protection. A sunscreen which is water resistant, and water resistant means that even at the end of 40 minutes, if we are underwater, the sunscreen would maintain its SPF.
Yes.
It
And
should
ma'am,
be
this. Hmm.
like it should be hypoallergenic, fragrance free. The SPF should be 35 or higher, and it should be economical as well because we have to use it on a daily basis for long term. So that is it. It should be pocket friendly.
Definitely. And so, ma'am, what are the characteristics as you were discussing that water resistant and all these things have been popping up? So these characteristics are a must in sunscreens.
If we speak of the ideal sunscreen, yes, definitely it should be because it's not just the water, the contact with the water. We do sweat, which is a normal phenomena. So it should be able to maintain its SPF while we are sweating. Otherwise, it doesn't serve a purpose. So these are like at least the basic things. Apart from it, it should be hypoallergenic. It shouldn't cause any comedogen, uh, comedone formation. So it should be non-comedogenic, and it should be like free from any allergens and all. It should be
Correct.
fragrance free as well.
Correct. So now one more things which adds up to all the women out there who are working and who are applying makeup. So when it comes to makeup, should we apply the sunscreen before or we can apply the sunscreen after the makeup? What is the right way?
See, again, we mentioned about the tinted sunscreen. So, if there's not much of a coverage that we need, if there's just a light coverage that we're looking for, a tinted sunscreen would be a very easy thing to go for because it works as a makeup part as well as the sun protection. But if like we need a more extensive protection from the blemishes and all, so we should apply the sunscreen first, followed by the makeup. If our makeup has an additional SPF, it is better. But we should not think that since our makeup products are having already a very high SPF, so we can skip the sunscreen. The first
Okay.
step should be the sunscreen, followed by the makeup.
Okay. And ma'am, then maybe we can carry the stick around and cover
Yeah.
some areas definitely.
Yes.
Yeah. And because one of the major thing which people usually do that they just apply the sunscreen and go out in the sun. Like I myself, when I have worked, then just applying sunscreen and going out in the sun. But as you rightly said, that we should at least let the body and the face consume the sunscreen first.
Yes. So that the money that we're spending on the sunscreen, it does us good.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Definitely. So, ma'am, our viewers also has some questions. Satyam from our viewers is asking, how does sunscreen contribute to the overall skin health and wellness?
See, overall, it not only protects us from the tan, which we might get in this season, or pigmentation, it also protects us from photo aging. And like apart from this, as we mentioned, it is those fine lines, wrinkles, the sun damage, those sunspots, which are pretty much common in this season to observe for a person who's not using sunscreen. So it's a clear, flawless skin which we get if we are using the sunscreen carefully and religiously. It also brings to my mind that we should not think that we're just 12-year-old in the teenage, we don't need sunscreen. Anybody who's above 6 months of age, it's pretty safe to apply sunscreens. We might be using the physical sunscreens for the younger population and a combination of a physical and a chemical sunscreen for the adults. But the sunscreen is a must. For individuals who are lesser than 6 months age, it is better that we avoid any kind of sun exposure. We don't advise any sun protection in the form of sunscreen for less than 6 months of age.
Okay. And ma'am, what is the best sunscreen for children and infants? As you mentioned that anybody, even the children can apply sunscreen. So which would be the best sunscreen you would suggest for the infants or children?
So in the summer season, swimming is one of the recreational activity which most of the
Yeah,
kids enjoy. So that
correct.
brings their parents to us asking about like whether they need to apply a sunscreen, and if yes, then which one. So for children, we don't recommend the chemical sunscreens. There have been certain studies which say that we can use the very same sunscreen for children and adults, but then we restrict ourselves to a chemical sunscreen which are proven to be safe. Sorry, the physical sunscreens which are proven to be safe, and we do not use any kind of a chemical sunscreen. So the ones which have zinc oxide or titanium dioxide, and to reduce the issue of white cast, there's also iron oxide that is added to it. So these components are actually physical blockers, and they do not cause any kind of a chemical reaction in our skin. So they're pretty safe for children.
Okay. And ma'am, Rahul from our viewers is asking, can sunscreen be used on bald or thinning hair areas?
So here in a spray sunscreen would be our go-to thing.
Yeah,
Because it
definitely.
will be very easy to apply, and it's important definitely because more is the thinning, more is the exposure of the scalp. So these sunspots that we see on the face, they can come onto the scalp as well. So we need to protect our scalp too.
Okay. Definitely. And all like everywhere, sunscreen application is not just for the face,
Yes.
but the
The
overall
ears,
body.
yes, the ear, all the sun exposed areas basically. Even the back
Yes.
of our hand needs to be protected because there are people who come to us, the face is pretty well maintained, but the neck doesn't look as if it belongs to the same person. Same goes for the arm. So there's a clear cutoff at the wrist. Till here,
Yeah.
it's well protected
Hmm.
because we do apply sunscreen. We forget the back of the hand, that this too is the part of our,
Body,
body
yeah.
inside. So whichever area is sun exposed, that should be protected. Even,
Yes.
the feet as well.
Mhm. And sometimes when we wear shirts or like three-four shirts, then half of the body looks a different color and half of
Yes.
the body looks tan. So yeah, definitely the sunscreen for overall body. Manav from our viewers is asking, is there a correlation between sunscreen use and skin cancer rates?
Uh, yes. See, we are more worried about those who have a family history of skin cancer, but then we know that skin cancer is something which can even happen sporadically, like without a family history too. So, we all should take due precautions, and sunscreen is really helpful. Apart from it, we should not refrain from using those fully protective clothes, wide brimmed hats, umbrella, those UV protection sleeves. So the sunscreen plus the physical protection is equally important, and it does go a long way in protecting skin cancers.
Okay. Ma'am, are there any different types of sunscreen formulations? Rocky from our viewers is asking this. I guess the same which we discussed is gel and
Cream,
lotion. Yeah.
lotions, the sprays and the sticks that they're upcoming these days.
Yes. Harshita from our viewers is asking, are there different types for different skin tones or different skin formulations?
So again, if a person has a dry skin, we would prefer a lotion or a cream at times. We might need to give a moisturizer prior to the application of sunscreen also. For people with oily skin or normal skin, a gel-based sunscreen would be our sunscreen of choice. And for those individuals who sweat a lot, again, the gel based sunscreens would be pretty good. The stick sunscreens are for just limited areas, maybe near the lips, near the eyes, and everywhere. Spray sunscreen for those who really don't want to spend much of a time. But I would still say that we should go to the conventional preparations and restrict the spray sunscreen to maybe areas of thinning in the scalp, wherein we find it much more easy and rewarding.
Okay, got it. Ma'am, thank you so much for answering all the questions in a detailed manner. But before we wind up or conclude the session, I would request you to please give a take home message to all the viewers who have joined us today on this application of sunscreen and how they can treat their skin better and be out in the sun working and not be afraid of getting tan or pigmented.
The sunscreen is actually our weapon which protects us not just from sun tan or sunburn or the pigmentation. It protects us from early signs of skin aging. It also protects us from skin cancer and various other sun related dermatosis, photoallergic, photoirritant reactions. So, it is a must for each and every individual who is above 6 months of age. So, we should not be afraid of sun. We should have a happy summer with the use of sunscreen. Reapplication is very important. So we should reapply at least twice in a day. And if we are outdoors, then we should reapply every 2 hours. Every sun exposed area should be covered with the sunscreen. And if not, if we don't detail about the amount, at least a layering technique or a 2 point, a 2 coat application is a very easy thing to follow. Apart from the sunscreen, we should use other methods of physical protection like long sleeved clothes, uh, wide brim hats, use of umbrellas, UV protection sleeves, and the sunglasses as well.
Yeah.
So, we should use all these methods. We should still try to seek shade as and when possible when we are out. And then for those people who are indoors, we just many a times hear that, doctor, we don't go out in the sun. So what is the need for the sunscreen? We forget
Right.
that, we are under the lamps and the lights throughout the day, or we are sitting in front of the screen. So we should have a sunscreen which should protect us from almost every the rays. Not just the UV rays, even the visible spectrum and the infrared protection is what we are looking at these days. There are certain studies which have shown that the people who have a darker skin tone, the visible light does more damage than, maybe they are more immune towards the UV rays, but the visible light and the spectrum is damaging even more. So we should have a sunscreen which protects us not just from the UV rays, but even from the infrared and the visible light. We should apply it indoors as well as outdoors. We should, and we should not think about vitamin D deficiency. Many times people are like that if we are always applying the sunscreen, then we are going to go deficient in vitamin D. So, if it brings a relief, there are certain individuals wherein we just can't let them go out in the sun because they'll either have a sunburn or they're even more prone to skin cancer because of that skin condition. So, what we do
Yes.
in them is that we regularly monitor the vitamin D levels and we give them vitamin D rich food items. Uh, these days, vitamin D fortification is done for many of our food products, and we can even supplement vitamin D. There have been certain studies comparing these individuals with the ones those who were applying sunscreen, and there hasn't been much of a difference. Like if you're applying sunscreen, it causes you more prone towards vitamin D damage. Just a few minutes of sun exposure on the exposed areas, it provides us adequate amount of vitamin D. So we should not worry much about vitamin D when we're applying the sunscreen. We can always
Right.
keep a check on it with a regular annual examination, maybe, and
Yes.
supplement it if required. We should not think that if we have a darker tone, we are immune to sun damage. It is for every skin tone, and we should apply it as carefully as a person with a fair skin tone would, and we should apply it throughout the year.
Definitely, ma'am. Thank you so much, and I really hope it has been a very informative and a very insightful session. So, thank you so much once again for your valuable time. It has been great for all our viewers, and it was really great to hear you. We really look forward for many more such sessions in the coming time. Thank you, viewers, for your excellent participation as well.
Thank you, dear. Thank you so much for discussing sunscreen in detail and almost, touching every nook and corner about the sunscreen, dealing with the practical aspects pretty well. So thank you so much.
Definitely. And ma'am, it was more of the need of the hour rather than it was more important because as so many sunscreens are coming up in the market and people are really confused of which one to use for which skin type. So sessions like this can help them make them aware of the right
What
choice.
to look for when they're going to buy a sunscreen.
Right. Indeed, definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Have a nice day.
Same to you.